All right, everyone, I'm Erica Van Eaton, and there's going to be whoever decides to pop on. There's a lot of new faces and a lot of new names that I haven't worked with before. So I'm excited. And just a heads up how I operate. Those who have been with me for a while know that I don't really have an outline of what I'm going to talk about. I allow myself to be just the clearest conduit of divine love and light and information that I can level of consciousness that I can connect to and bring through you all. So we'll just kind of breathe and really begin to expand, fill up with as much light as possible. What we are doing today is that we're setting the tone for this membership portal, basically to learn about and to release as many enmeshments as we're ready to release. So when I talk about enmeshments, my middle son came to me a couple of years ago when I was in meditation, and he was showing me how my energy field was enmeshed with his, and it was causing, as I went through energetic shifts, it was bothering him. It was causing issues for him. So every feeling, thought, and emotion that we have carries a string of energy, right? Like the string theory in physics. Basically, it's a line of energy that goes out. Well, when this happens often, we tend to attach to things in our environment, people, places, things that are that vibrational match. And because atoms of energy are sticky, we form energetic bonds with these things in our house, in our environment. Sometimes just in the stores that we walk into, we can form these energetic bonds. And what they end up looking like are like chain link fences, these enmeshments. So even if we leave a place, even if we're not thinking about that person, as that person's going through a shift, we feel it. And that's why we feel the collective consciousness of our society so often, right? So when people are going through big political shifts in a country, it affects us, right? If there's war happening across the world, it affects us. It's because of these energetic enmeshments that we have, and we don't really realize that we're so connected to everything. And it's basically can act kind of like clutter. Everything in your home has an energetic blueprint. So, if you walk into a room, or if you walk into a house someone that's a hoarder, it begins to feel very claustrophobic because everything in there has an energetic blueprint and we're feeling it, and it can feel very overwhelming. So that's why those with like autism tend to have very tidy spaces and need to have very clean spaces, because all these energies are coming into your field all day long, causing clutter. So enmeshments cause clutter. All right. So first, we're just going to breathe, and we're going to kind of begin to feel into just our own bodies and fill up with as much light as we can. So as we close our eyes and begin to slow our breath, we're just triggering the body to let it know that it's safe. So when we slow our breath down, we're telling the body that it's safe. We also begin to slow the brain waves down in our minds and our brains. And it begins to take the attention from the outside of the brain to the inside of the brain. And it's within the inside of the brain that we access the highest levels of clarity. So let's just imagine that there's a door about 300 feet above your head in the clouds, and you're going to allow that door to fall open. And from that door, there's going to be beautiful rays of light coming down. And it's very specific to you because we each resonate at a slightly different harmonic, at a slightly different frequency. So just allow these rays of light to come down, begin to filter and open your crown. As we allow that crown to gently open, you can feel the energy start to fill up your head. And then you can feel the energy coming down all around you. So I'd invite you to keep your eyes closed, because when we keep our eyes closed, it shuts off the exterior light that's going into our pineal gland. And our pineal gland is most activated when there's not external light coming through that optic nerve. So if you close your eyes and you just slow your breath, we can allow in even more light. And we're going to bring this on down. We're going to allow this light to wash into our neck and over our shoulders. Feel this light begin to wash down your arms, the palms of your hands, your fingers. Feel this light begin to come into your chest. Feel this light come into your abdomen, spraying down all around you, within you and all around you. Let this light fill up your hips and really open up that first energy center. Let the light flow down your legs and into your knees, opening up your knees where we carry so much resistance. Let it go into the calves, opening up the calves and the ankles and the feet and the toes and in the spaces in between the toes. Allow all of that to fill up with light. Allow the doors on the bottoms of your feet to fall open and allow this light to go down into the earth. And we're going to begin to share this energy with the earth, allowing ourselves to be a clear conduit of infinite divine love and light. And as you sink down into the earth, just see where she wants to guide you, because we're each going to be guided to a slightly different place within her. There are some of you that are being guided to water. Some are being guided to the crystalline core. There's a few going to caves. Whatever this place is for you, trust that it's carrying the frequencies that you need, the frequencies that are waiting there to help attune you. Now, from this space, energy is going to begin to come back up. Going back into your toes, the bottoms of your feet, up your heels, up your Achilles tendons, up your calves, filling in your fascia, your veins, your arteries, coming in through your bones, washing into your knees, all the ligaments, all the tendons, all the muscle fibers, opening up your cells, coming into your hips, filling up every organ, all the linings of those organs, opening up and expanding your blood, just giving everything more space. So the more light we allow in and we fill up with, when we calm our breath, when we slow our brain waves down, we actually become more light than matter. We become less dense. There's more space between the atoms that make up our physical container. This is important. This is important for everyday living. This is really important when we want to shift and let things go. When we're in a space of stress or fear or just busy and not living very consciously, we become more dense. So
Erica, you mute yourself by accident.
thank you. Okay. So when we're in a stressful state, or when we're just busy, when we're not making conscious decisions, what tends to happen is that that space between our atoms tends to collapse and we become denser. When we become denser, it is much easier for us to get enmeshed with other people's energy. It's much easier for us to take on other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, because those waves that would naturally go through us stick to us. We become sticky. So as we fill up with all of this light, come back into your heart space and just place your awareness on your heart. Now, from your heart, feel yourself begin to expand out. The bubble of light that you are, feel yourself expand out past the body you're in. Feel yourself expand out past the room you're in or car you're in. Feel yourself expand out past the building you're in. Feel yourself expand out past the city you're in. Feel yourself expand out past the country you live in. And as we expand out, we're expanding behind us, in front of us, above us, below us. So just keep expanding out. Now we want you to expand out past the earth. And we're going to go out past the moon. We're going to go out past the Milky Way galaxy. And then I'm going to take all of your vibrations up a full octave. So just breathe and expand. So when we're in this expanded state, you might feel around your energy, feel around your physical body, and see where there's tightness. See where maybe you feel a pressure or a constriction or a restriction, or maybe pain. Like for some of you, there's a lot of energy kind of enmeshed and stuck to the left temple. So I just want you to see that when we're this expanded, these little enmeshments and attachments become much more visible. So every emotion that we have through every experience that we've ever had, if it's an emotion that we would say is disharmonic or incoherent, something that resides with fear, anger, hate, shame, regret, guilt, these kind of things, oftentimes those emotions, we know this, you hear people preach about this all the time, those emotions often don't roll through us like joy and harmony and peace and being happy does. They often get trapped within us, but those emotions themselves release a chemical compound called neuropeptides. These neuropeptides get stuck in our organs, get stuck in our tissues, get stuck in our fascia, waiting to be released at some point when we can fully release them. Sometimes the body does this on purpose. It doesn't allow us to fully release these chemicals because it knows that it would be too overwhelming. So when we expand like this, it gives our body a chance to release. And those who are new to my work, I yawn a lot when I'm moving energy. Yeah, saw you doing it too. I'll have to clear my throat. I'll probably turn red and blotchy at some point, but it's just energy moving. So if that's you, all just allow yourself to yawn, to cry, to move, whatever we need to do. Okay, so just a little bit of cleanup first. I'm going to ask for Archangel Metatron, Michael, Raphael to come forward. Lord Melchizedek is here. What we're going to begin doing is making sure that everyone's in their own container so that as we begin to release and move energy, that we are all connected. Yes, we have these parts of us that are overlapping. So we're each in a sphere of light. Each of these spheres of light overlap. And where they overlap is where we meet, where we do our healing work together. The rest of that sphere, that is your sphere and your sphere only. No healer, no person, place, or thing should ever go inside your sphere of light because that is your energy and that what causes entanglements. So we're just going to make sure that everyone's spheres of light are sovereign. So I just want you to hold the intention that the sphere of light you are in is nice and clean and clear. And we're going to start working on patching, getting holes, rips, tears. Just kind of look around your sphere of light. And this is where you can play pretend. If you can't see, if you can't feel, if you can't hear, it does not matter. This is where we play pretend. So we're just going to hold the tension, and really our intentions are enough. That light is starting to fill in and heal any kind of rips or tears along our auric fields. You may even start to play with your hands. So our hand chakras are extensions of our heart. As we fill in with light, this light comes in and our heart wants to explode that light out. That light goes through our arms, out the palms of our hands and our fingertips. So I'm just going to start clearing your guys's, opening up your palm chakras a little bit more. And what do we mean by light? All we're meaning are frequencies. And when we bring these frequencies through our hearts and into our hands, those frequencies start running out of our hands. So the enmeshments, the entanglements, the cords, the rips, the tears, they all carry a certain frequency, right? Well, when we start bringing this light through our heart and through our hands, we can start using our hands to manipulate, to shift, to change, to alchemize the frequencies that are incoherent in our field, the enmeshments that are not serving us. Because those tend to be of a more incoherent frequency. So if we bring two energy waves together that are different frequencies, they collide and they form, there's a space of chaos. And from that chaos, a new energy wave gets emitted, a different frequency. So if we use the frequency that's coming through our hands, from our heart, in the field, we're bringing these enmeshments, these incoherent frequencies that are of a lower vibration, into a short space of chaos so that we can start radiating a different frequency out. So just feel your hands. You may want to start playing with them a little bit. And anywhere your hands are blocked because you haven't been using them, or we need to call forward past lives where you shut your hands down for multiple reasons. There's some past lives where we've created out of darkness and we didn't want to do that anymore. So we were scared of manipulating our power or using it not for the highest and greatest good, but that's just an experience. There's times when we played with light, but we were harmed in some way. So we shut these things down. So we're just going to allow for any past lives that need to come forward and be healed at this time to come forward. And they're in their own container of light. So we're not enmeshing these things together. They're in their own container of light. You're in your own container of light. So just let them come forward and just observe them. Just witness them. And wherever they are at, we're going to place them somewhere else. We're going to place them in a different environment. Because remember, only on Earth here is it in linear time. All past, present, and future lives are actually happening in the now moment. That energy doesn't ever get destroyed. It's there. They're just in a different dimensional space as you. So if we allow for them to be healed, if we allow for them to start running and filling up with light, we can take them out of the dimensional plane that they were in, where life maybe wasn't so hot for them, and help them expand into a different space. And in this way, we begin to turn on more of their gifts, and we can allow their gifts to begin to filter through and to turn on more of our own. Okay, so we're just going to move them to somewhere beautiful. And then allow your master guides and angels, your highest self, source energy, whoever you want to call on, to help guide that aspect of you to somewhere more expansive. There we go. Now I feel some more hands turning on. Okay, so now I want you to check around your energy field again. Really along the back. Like just feel into the back of you. Just imagine that you have eyes on the back of your head and you can see behind you. We take in so much energy from our back. And then we're going to call forward your inner child. And pretend, see, sense, or know that you can feel your inner child's energy field, that bubble of light. Now we're going to show your inner child. We're going to bring your caretakers forward and show them or allow them rather, to show you where they have enmeshed with them, with their caretakers, with their moms, with their dads, with their aunts, with their uncles. Siblings. with abusers. And so see, sense, or know if you can feel where that tightness still resides in your energy field. And what I want you to start doing is to help your inner child use their hands and tell them it is safe to let these enmeshments go. The only thing they need to be connected to at this time is you. So as we clear your energy field from these enmeshments, as we continue to take these layers off and shift and change the frequency, we're freeing up the neuropeptides to be released. So use your breath, those neuropeptides that I spoke about in the beginning, that get released with the emotions that we feel from different experiences. Those neuropeptides each hold a frequency that radiate out into the energy field, that connect us continually into the memories, that connect us continually into these enmeshments with these other people, places, and things. So they naturally are released through our breath, through our sweat, through tears, through urine. So just allow the organs, the knees, the ankles, the calves, stay expanded as we begin alchemizing these neuropeptides, the chemicals, using our breath to move them. It's one thing to go into someone's energy field and just start ripping out cords and to start releasing enmeshments, but they will come back if we're still having aspects of us that are vibrational match to them. And that's why things can come back time and time again. So we need to release them on a physical level. We need to release them on a neurological level. We need to release them on an emotional level. I want you to bring in more light. Allow that door above your head to continue to fill you up. And you may notice that the colors that are coming in now, the frequencies that are coming in now, are even a little bit different in their hue. As you're lightening up the load, the clutter. Basically, we create a lot of clutter internally and in our energy field. So we're going to use the violet flame. Just imagine like this beautiful, vibrant violet flame spinning counterclockwise, starting in our heart, and it's spreading out. As it rotates, it grows bigger. And any other dark entities, earthbound spirits, Luciferians, Anakis, remote viewers, anything else of that nature, black magicians. We're now commanding that all of them be released from our fields with love and gratitude, because they have showed us where we were a vibrational match and allowed them to come in. We're going to start clearing everything out of your field. Across all timelines, across all time-space continuum, in all directions, infinite levels, high and wide. We're going to utilize this violet flame to start lifting, releasing, alchemizing any implants. In your field. We're going to start going ahead and releasing. And again, you can always say no to anything that we're doing. We're going to start releasing any contracts that we've made with the collective consciousness to alchemize and run energy for them. Again, that tends to cause clutter. We have good intentions when we do these things, but ultimately the greatest gift that we can give humanity is holding as much light as possible, right? In a very sovereign, clean way. Because it will naturally begin to alchemize the energies around you. So, like we were talking about before, if we're running energy through our heart, if we're allowing ourselves to be this pure channel of light, just by waving hi at someone, you are releasing light codes from your hand that's going into the field, that's alchemizing incoherent frequencies that are radiating around you from you to that person. Healing can really be that simple. Giving back to humanity can really be that simple. I'm just allowing your mind to come forward now. So we're going to ask for your mind to be present with us. I'm going to ask for your ego to be present with us. And there's nothing that they need to do, just be witness. So mind and ego, as energy has come into your field and as these enmeshments have allowed to be formed with different people, places, and things, it sends little zingers of energy into the body. It sends it into the heart. It sends it into the mind. And these carry a frequency that start causing you to form neural pathways that are vibrational match to that energy when we don't know how to process it or when we're not consciously aware that this is coming from an outside source. When we do that, mind, when you start creating neural pathways that were never yours to begin with, but rather an external source. It's a false belief system because it doesn't hold true for this container normally when it's incoherent. Okay, so anywhere the mind, anywhere that you have been holding on to neural pathways that are vibrational match to these enmeshments that we're releasing that are causing constriction of our energy, can you allow us to let those go now? And what we'll start doing is releasing again the neuropeptides that are in the brain because they get released too. When we have incoherent thoughts, frequencies running through the brain, there are chemicals released in the brain. Neuropeptides get released in the brain too, and they can get between the synapses, between the dendrites of the neural pathways so that we can't form new neural pathways. We begin to have methylation issues. This is a big problem for autism. It's a big problem for all the mental health things on the planet. Depression, anxiety, all these different things. Okay, so we're releasing from the body, we're releasing from the mind. Okay, now the ego is attached to, it doesn't need to be attached to, but it has been attached to our emotional body that resides right outside of the physical body. Just for a moment, we're going to release the enmeshment of our personality, of our ego from the emotional body. We're going to break that enmeshment. It doesn't have to operate that way. It was never meant to operate that way. And this is kind of a big one. So just breathe. We're going to allow for the earth ego to come up and help us with this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And ego, your real role is to prohibit enmeshments. Ego, your real role is to allow for the greatest expansion of the soul through the body. But we can't do that when we're enmeshed into this energy field around us. To different people, places, and things whose vibrations are not bringing us harmony. So you may begin to feel a little bit more space around you. And then as we create more space, we can let in even more light. So take a breath and let even more light come in. If there is any other person, place, or thing that you know that you're enmeshed with that you would like to release, now's the time to bring that up, and we'll start working in your field to letting it go. Because what if we just all walked around super squeaky clean? Would take away all judgment, right? Of right or wrong, good or bad. So ego, as you expand out around, what you can begin to see is that judgment doesn't exist anymore. The only reason why judgment formed in the first place is because we felt all this energy coming into us and it didn't feel good, so we begin to judge it. We didn't know how to run it. We didn't know how to release it. It felt very overwhelming. It felt like it began to be ours. And so we began to judge ourselves. We began to judge other people. And as soon as we start forming a judgment, we create an enmeshment with that person because we are not vibrating any differently than that other thing. So somebody's mind is asking a really good question. And the question that it asked was, well, is it not okay then to not like something? And absolutely you cannot like something because we're each different and we each came here to have a different kind of experience. We have different likes and dislikes. We just don't need to wrap a story or a judgment around them, around those likes or dislikes. We like it just because we do, just because it makes us feel good. It doesn't have to make someone else feel good. So we still can have our likes and dislikes and explore what we like and dislike. Okay, so if you can, continue to use your hands or just your intention to work your way in between the ego and the emotional body. Just creating space. Okay. So let's go ahead and call forward any contracts, vows, bonds, oaths, agreements, known or unknown, even the ones that may seem irrevocable that we made before we came here, that we made after we came here, that we didn't even know we made. And let's breathe and let's release all of them. Even the contractual agreements that I've made with my kids to bring them in here, to support them as they grow into their own sovereign adulthood. Those contracts shift and change. That's why my son came to me and had me start releasing enmeshments with him. The reason why we can begin, so I ask questions and then I hear questions from your guys' consciousness, from your minds. So if you just hear me randomly answering a question that you've asked in your head, this is what's happening. The reason why we even want to break contract with our children is because right now on the planet, we are making such massive shifts all the time. Our energy is changing so much all the time. Those contracts can keep us limited in a way. They can keep us stuck in a way. It doesn't mean that I'm just letting my children go and fly around the earth. They have to stay. They stay with me. They don't have to stay with me. They stay with me and I choose to support them, but I choose to support them in a way that is very sovereign. So if you're in relationship with someone, if you have parents that you take care of, if it's just you, but you're taking care of a pet, even every single contractual agreement that you have made or ever have made in the past, present, or future, it's time to really begin to let them go. And again, that's another layer of enmeshment that we get to release and let go. Even contractual agreements with yourself. Let's say you made an agreement with your soul before you came here to be a healer, to do this, to do that. Well, we have to remember that Earth is a free will planet. And as Earth is a free will planet, there's things that we couldn't have predicted that have happened to us. We may have moved through things much more quickly than we thought we would. So these old contracts can keep us limited in a way. So just let everything go. Be that sovereign bubble of light that you are. We're just clearing the energy, right? A contract is just a bubble of energy. And so to clear a contract, someone's asking how to clear a contract. So to clear a contract that's in your energy field, that's in the energy, well, it's not necessarily even in your energy field, it's just in the energy field. The only thing keeping you connected to that energy, to that bubble, to that contract, is being a vibrational match to it. So all we have to do is release the energy going into that contract, alchemizing the cords going into it, releasing them. It pretty much like pokes a hole in that contract and it becomes deflated. And then you can send a burst of energy to that deflated balloon and break it all up. So we can practice that right now. So imagine that there is it can be a memory, it can be a contract, a vow, an oath in the energy field, connected to any person, place, or thing, or even yourself. Maybe it's a past life that you took an oath and you've carried it from lifetime to lifetime. Imagine that you can see it in the energy field as a balloon of light. The only thing connecting you to that balloon of light is just a simple stream of energy that you're vibrating out, matching into. So we're just going to use that beautiful light that's coming in through your heart and through your hands. You could even blow across the top of your hand and allow that energy to bring the cord of energy that's going into this memory into a state of chaos. Remember, that's a certain frequency, and what you're now running through your hands and heart is a different energy, different frequency. The one that's coming through your heart and into your hands is much more expansive. So we're going to take this high vibrational frequency and we're going to basically blow up the stream of energy going into the memory, into the field, bringing it into a space of chaos. And now you'll begin to see, sense, feel, or imagine that you're resonating at a different frequency, something that's more expansive, and you can no longer even attach to the memory in the field. You can't even attach to the contract, to the vow, to the oath any longer because you're no longer in harmony with it. So then you also can just imagine that old packet of energy that was in the balloon, blowing up with love and light, dispersing, shifting, changing into something different, alchemizing. So now you have to decide, and these are why rewriting stories becomes so important. Who am I if I don't have this enmeshment? Who am I if I don't have this contract? Who am I, or who do I want to become if I don't have this thing in my life anymore? And sometimes we don't know the answer to that yet, and that's okay. So we can just say, what would it take for me to connect to the highest divine, most expansive version of self? And every day that self gets to shift and change because your energy shifts and changes every single day. So you might imagine yourself in the perfect, healthy body. You might be surrounded by friends and family that are loving and supportive. your business might shift and change what it looks like. So I break contracts with my business all the time. That way it can shift and grow and change however it needs to. So breathe. And again, the body is learning how to work with these neuropeptides we talked about earlier. So we're breaking up the line of energy streaming out of us with our hands, connecting into different memories in the field, and we're shifting, releasing, alchemizing through the breath, and telling our body it is safe, telling our mind it is safe to release the neuropeptides that were a vibrational match to that memory, that experience, that contract in the first place. I get to let it go. And this is why just about every healer after a session says, drink a lot of water. We know that water is a conduit of energy, but on the physiological level, we are flushing out the chemicals, the neuropeptides, the cortisone, all these different chemicals that are released in the body that have been trapped in the body that we're now releasing. We're flushing them out. Again, we flush them out through our stool, through our urine, through our breath, through our sweat. Awesome. Okay, so remember that violet flame that was going counterclockwise around us? It's kind of settled down, but now we're going to bring it down to the bottoms of our feet. And it's going to settle right under the earth, where we are standing on the earth. And it's acting like a vacuum. And it's going to start pulling out all these frequencies that we are releasing. They need somewhere to go, that we are alchemizing, that we are shifting, that we are changing. All the excess debris, flushing from head to toe, releasing out of our lymphatic system. Just allowing it to wash. Even more light begins to pour down from that door 300 feet above your head. It's pouring down even harder, just flushing you, flushing your entire energy field from head to toe, down into this violet flame that's alchemizing, shifting, changing, turning it all back into love. Beautiful. Now that violet flame is going to reverse. And all this energy has been alchemized. And it's resonating at Christ consciousness and above. It's going to reverse, and now it's starting to come back up and fill you up. It's filling up your feet, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your abdomen, into your chest, up your spine, your shoulders, down your arms, your hands, up your neck and into your head, expanding out all around you. And we did it this way for a very specific reason. We want you to know that there is nothing to be afraid of. No emotion that you've ever felt, no experience that you've ever had, no attachment that you've ever had energy come into you from. There is nothing to be afraid of because we can alchemize, shift, change absolutely everything. And at the root of everything, when we go through that black hole to the other side, is love. So right now, I want you to consciously pull your sphere back to you. And everyone is going to disconnect, and everyone's sphere is going to be completely sovereign. And I'm going to allow for everyone's guides and angels and ancestors to go back to them. And take a big breath in. Okay. So when you're ready, you can start to wiggle your toes and your ankles and your calves. We're going to ask for your spirit to fully align down through the spine into the root. And expand through the chest, expand up through the head, making sure the spirit is anchored down into the feet. And then expand out from there. Okay. So when you're ready, you can kind of come back and begin to open your eyes. You can write down any comments, or if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Or you can just unmute yourself. That was a lot of energy. So let me know how you guys are feeling. Good? Okay. You're welcome. Does it make sense about the contracts? Like the need to let all contracts really begin to go? Yeah. You were coughing. Yes. I was coughing for you too. There was a lot of throat opening. It's okay. There was a lot of throat opening happening. Why? Because we allowed in so much more light. So these contracts, these enmeshments, they keep us, we're resonating at 1,000 different hertz all day long. And I don't even want to say breaking one with my teen daughter now, that it's hard. Those aren't easy, especially with our kids, but they're so important. These contracts, these enmeshments, these vows, these oaths, even when we think they're for our highest and greatest good, they keep us resonating at, frequencies that aren't allowed to expand. So I'm curious, once we are free from the contract enmeshment with our parent, for example, what is there and how is that going to affect our relationship? So I love that question. Great question. When we break these, what allows to we are just able to expand on such a greater level, and the relationships get to shift and change because there's no form of codependency. The problem with contracts that we've had up to this point is created a lot of codependency because that enmeshment is in our field. So we get addicted to what the energies, the frequencies that we're feeling from these enmeshments, because those cause chemical reactions in our body, right? And our cells actually get addicted to those chemicals, even when they don't feel good. So as we release these enmeshments and things, we're allowed to expand so much more freely, and we begin to release codependency on any one person, place, or thing. So that when I'm in relationship with my kids now, it's different. Yes, they still depend on me for different things, but emotionally, if they're emotionally charged, I can be a witness and just observe that so they can learn how to express that and run that independently from me, more so than if I was more enmeshed in their field. And like my 8-year-old, we are still a little bit more enmeshed in our field because it's a different kind of, he's not a young adult yet. It's just different. But we get to shift and change. So every year it's different with my kids. Every year it's more freedom, it's more shifting, it's more changing to allow for more expansion to happen. Does that make sense? So we're wanting to go through ascension. Well, if you have parents or kids or friends or just coworkers or anyone around you that's not, they're going to keep you a little bit stuck in this one area of your life, wherever you're connected to them. And so you continue to radiate out the frequencies that are vibrational match to them, and not so much what you're wanting to ascend into or what you can ascend into at times. And so then you draw back these different experiences into your life, and you're like, why am I still having that experience? Because I released the subconscious blocks. I know I've done this. And well, you still have those neuropeptides inside of you that are radiating out into the field, connecting you to experiences in the field. Make sense? Okay, I have a desire to break all vows and oaths that ultimately allows us to show up fully with freedom and greater love. Absolutely. And that's why I was like, even with our own highest self, even with our own souls, it's safe to break contracts, because what we're saying is, I no longer need to be held accountable for XYZ. I've expanded beyond that. I don't want to be limited by any person, place, or thing any longer. I want to be the greatest conduit of divine love and light that I can possibly be in this now moment. And so every now moment, it gets to shift and change. I want to learn so much about the neuropeptides. It's basically a chemical that gets released every time we have a feeling or emotion. Now, generally, we get to, when something's not super traumatic or when something feels good, they naturally course through our body really easily. But when we don't know how to fully express that emotion, when something's really traumatic and we just physically cannot, like if you had a parent that died suddenly when you were young, that traumatic experience, if you released everything in that moment that happened, it would have completely overwhelmed you, absorbed you. So your body naturally wants to protect you a little bit and will hold on to those neuropeptides so that when you're ready. So that's why, like, grief, it's usually almost hits like a year after, when someone dies, a year after the fact, you can be sitting at a stoplight and then all of a sudden they'll just start crying and you'll be thinking, and you think about that person. Well, you've allowed yourself to relax enough around the experience that you can process it and let it go. I'm a therapist and I see this being a shift in my practice and well for myself. Absolutely. So a lot of times in energy healing, what we have focused on is just releasing the energy, just releasing like the energetic cords and everything. Well, we have to dig into the entire being of who we are. So we have to dig into the mind. We have to dig into the neural pathways, but we also have to dig into the fascia. We have to dig into, because that's where these chemicals are in our body. We can't just focus on the emotional. We can't just focus on the spiritual or just the physical. It's everything that we have to focus on, release on the whole thing. Because if we just talk about it, if we just talk about our spirit and come into a place of divine love and shift that out, Well, that's not addressing what the body really needs. The body really needs to release the chemicals that it has stored up from these experiences so that it can shift what it's attaching to in the energy field. Because remember, every cell of our body is created of trillions of atoms of energy, and these atoms collapse in and out of that energy field around us all day long. So in order to shift, we need to shift the entire being. That makes sense? And the past life entanglement, if a past life entanglement is ready to be released, is it simply a matter of setting our intention for that to happen? I don't ever have a specific memory or image come forth when we call forth past lives. Religious service. Don't we all? Yes. Okay. So for past lives, if you can't see them clearly, if you can't feel them clearly, it's okay. It's just being quiet and holding the intention to call them forward. And normally what has worked the best for me in the past is taking any, like we did earlier today, taking any past lives that may have been whoever took the vow or oath or whatever, for whatever reason, whether they were playing in the dark, whether they're playing in the light and we're going to get killed for it, who knows, right? It doesn't really matter. But it's taking them out of that experience altogether, that environment altogether, and placing them. So a lot of the past lives that I was seeing today, I took them to, that wasn't me, it was like Archangel Michael and stuff, took them to mountains in beautiful communities where they were being held and loved and supported, which completely changed their experience. We can change experiences for our past lives. We can put them in an environment where they're held and supported. And so that trickles through, right, the quantum field and changes our experiences. And so this is best understood if you take that, if you watch like even just the first class of alchemizing blocks into gold, I talk a lot about that. So I would check that one out because all these lives are going on at the same time. So we can take them out of that experience, putting them to somewhere else where they are safe, where they are being supported, where they are being held. Yep.
This would be so much easier just to ask. So I did watch the first two classes of that. And as I was watching that, the question that I kept coming, so the what if a choice point would have been different? Are those what ifs always going back to, okay, so what, I had a sister who died. So what if she was alive? And then do I spend time in that
You can.
parallel life, or what if, I mean, it seems like that what if pathway going, is it always something better or worse? Or, I mean, I don't even know what my question is. It's almost like, so, I mean, as I look back, and I'm really excited to have found that a challenge, because there's some sense of acceptance of what is right now, and I don't have as many what ifs. So if we're at that place, what's the purpose of doing the what if part of the acceptance process is to see all of those as lessons that were okay in the end?
Well, you don't have to, certainly don't have to. But oftentimes, if we go back and say, look at, okay, what if that wouldn't have happened? Who is that person? What is she embodying that I haven't quite embodied yet? And it's just taking that and adding that to your current reality. So if your sister wouldn't have died and you wouldn't have experienced XYZ, or if you wouldn't have held on to XYZ, or maybe you would have expressed yourself in this other fashion, what is she embodying and expressing that I shut down? And then you just add that frequency to your life to enhance it. Or maybe you don't want any of it, and that's okay too. But what we're looking for is the greatest expression that we can possibly become in this lifetime, in this now moment, every moment. So when we look at these other parallel lives that are happening, past, present, or future, we can look at, okay, what gifts did they embody, or what do they have that I feel like I'm lacking in some way? And we know that lack isn't a real thing, but how are they expressing themselves in a way that would benefit me to express myself in that way in this now moment, that would allow me to show up more fully in this now moment in a more whole and complete way, which that whole and complete way is shifting every single day as I find more of myself, find more of who I am and who I came here to be. And I can see these different aspects a little bit more easily when I'm looking at these what if lives. So if I look at the what if life of, let's say, we'll go back, like my kindergarten teacher got after me really bad one time and it was like, shut me down or whatever. Well, what if I wouldn't have that? Oh, I wouldn't have been so shy in school I would have talked up more. I would have probably been doing speaking engagements a lot sooner than I did, which mean that I would be in a completely different place in my practice right now than I am right now. Right. So I'm like, okay, well, how does she feel? How does she feel secure in her body that I haven't quite reached yet? And I go back and I feel that frequency and I see how she's living that. And I can feel it, I can sense it, I can play with it, and I embody that. And that allows me to show up a little bit differently right now in this now moment. So it's not saying that we don't accept the things that have happened to us, because they can be very beautiful and often end up to be beautiful things, but it's what else how can I take myself to the next level? If I would have this code, how did she not shut a code down, or what code is she carrying that I haven't quite turned on yet? Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. For a while there, it was almost like a wishing I was someone different. So it got a little bit, that got stuck in my head like a little too quickly. So yeah, that's perfect.
And then we take that further, like, okay, who am I today and how do I want to shift differently? And we start playing with that future life. Where do I want my practice to go? Where do I want my finances to go? Where do I want my relationships to go? And we start taking these different aspects of us and we start talking that way. We start building that way so that our energy flows that way. And sometimes that's easier when we see another aspect of ourselves already doing that thing. Because we can kind of feel, oh, man, okay, she just held 5,000 people. I can feel what that felt like and what energy that took. So I can do that too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And when I did do that with my sister, it was like, what would it be like to have 3 girls in the family? I mean, it was an immediate, like, yeah, something definitely shifted. And it was like, wow, that was, what would that, yeah. So, okay, thank you. Yeah, this was.
So that feeling is still there. You want to hold on to it and bring that to that present life right now.
Yeah. I just have to say, how I found you, Rihanna, like, this is all just like coming together perfect. The way you teach as you guide us is just so in sync with what I feel I'm called to do. And so I'm just like this little kid thrilled to death here. I just have to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I love, there's a lot of healers on the call and that signed up. There's about 30 people that are in the membership right now, and at least 20 of them do have a healing practice of some kind or do healing work on themselves. And so the energy is incredibly expansive. And so I'm so grateful, like beyond grateful. So yeah.
So I want to ask the follow-up question about the contract that we have. So for me, it's with my mother. And there has been part of the, other than the emotional, there's also financial, obligation. And I feel sometimes, I feel, would it be one of the reasons why I'm not able to receive financial abundance? Because, part of me is like, if I do, then, well, I get to support her, but then I don't know if that's actually helping her, because that's what I have been doing, supporting her. And so she come to a certain situation in her life. And so my question is that how once, to have that desire to disentangle that enmeshment, but the financial sort of burden still is there. And I just feel it's quite still entangled with the money. I feel like I probably can let go of the emotion a bit easier, but I don't know about the finance.
Yeah, Actually the underlying currency is like a little resentment there. So I'm burping a lot, which we're working on this as we talk. So for anyone that feels financially responsible for a parent, let's just breathe for a moment. And what the resentment is that we see that the way that it has been promoted through culture and things in the past is another level of codependence. And that's why it doesn't feel good. So we keep ourselves playing a little bit smaller so that we don't have to feed that codependence even more with more of our money, with more of our energy, right? So close your eyes. Anywhere that we've attached codependency to money, period, that's just a program. Let's go ahead and release, and let that go. So we're going to start alchemizing. We're just going to start releasing. Anywhere that we have needed to be reliant upon another person for money to come to us, or that other people are relying upon us for money to come to us, to come to them. And that sense of responsibility, that sense of suffrage, let's just go ahead and release and let that go. So we're just asking the body to let go of all the neuropeptides that are associated with anger and fear and guilt and shame over feeling resentment and the feelings of resentment. So money, and we're going to do next month, the entire month is going to be on money. And I'm pretty sure we're going to do 3, maybe 4 classes next month. Money is its very own frequency, and the frequency of money itself is very beautiful and very pure. But as we know, so much has been programmed around it. So the real answer here for you is that we cannot give another person money until it's coming from a place of expansive prosperity. And so if we don't have the means at the time, you know, there's times when I tell my kids, not right now. Now's not the right time. And it's not projecting anything onto them, not making them feel shame or guilt or anything like that, right? So sometimes we're scared to say no because that person is going to feel the emotions that we've actually felt in the past, and we don't want to project that. So if we can be honest and fill that space with love first and just say, not right now. Now's not the right time for me to expend that kind of energy on this. And sometimes I'll talk about it like that with the kids instead of money, right? So we can tell our parents, we can let go of any codependency, and they're probably not going to understand it yet, right? So this is for you all and you all only. Anyone that's dependent upon you, anyone that you're dependent upon, this is for you and you only. So we change our enmeshments, and we're releasing those and letting those go. And now there's like a stick in your heart right here, and we're just going to gently kind of because when someone asks us for money, even if it's our kids and we don't have it, it kind of feels like a jab in the heart, or even for ourselves, we want something, we want to experience something, and we don't have the means for it. It feels like we go back to that being that little kid that wanted something that didn't get something, and it feels like rejection. And that rejection ends up being like a psychic attack energy. Right? So We're going to release all psychic attack energies that we've had from and so really behind that for you, you're asking, is there even really love there? Like, you know, your mom loves you, but like it's this underlying, does she really love me or is she just depending upon me? Kind of. So we're just going to let that go, realizing that everyone is at a different levels of consciousness and different level of understanding. And our egos are going to expand out around us and not judge what is being asked of us by other people. We get to allow that go. Okay. We're not judging someone else's experience. We're not judging what someone else is trying to attach onto us for. Our egos get to see, get to witness that someone else might just be out of alignment. Just like we have been out of alignment when we bought into the concept of lack. And we let it go. And anywhere that we have created any contracts, vows, bonds, oaths, or agreements, known or unknown, that we have not reached yet, that are made out of codependency, even with other spiritual healers or guides or mentors, let's just go ahead and release all of that and let it go. Okay. Just kind of let me know how you guys are feeling, what you're sensing. Better? Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments? Everybody else kind of zoned out right now? Yes. Okay. So I will, whenever this actually downloads, get it put up on in the portal. It'll be on the like large group access page, the replays to this. And I'm going to try to get just an audio up too. So if you guys just want to listen to the audio, so you don't have to watch the video, since we played with our eyes closed most of the time anyway. So, all right. So we are grounded, cleansed, cleared. Everyone's in their own space. Just making sure that everyone's containers are released and back together. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Much love and light to all of you. And I look forward to playing with you again. Love you all.